Welcome to Fasting Space. So nice to have you here today. How are you today? It's Friday. So nice to be here with you and share this space. Going to talk about less stress. Who could use less stress these days? Especially at the end of the week. So I put on this shirt. Hike more, worry less. Another reminder for me. A great path for health and wellness. What is the greatest weapon against stress in a fasting space in life? How do we overcome cravings and every obstacle that we have in our way? Couple different ways I'll show you, but maybe it's just these beautiful creatures. This is my video I shot for the week, updating our situation in the country with the goats. And you can see that all around the paddock here, there's these patches where they've just eaten everything now. Just totally knocked it out. And, I should have Here, I'll show you right at the beginning. I have to reset it. Oops, it'll disappear a sec. There we go. Right when at the start, this guy is crawling up right in the center. He's crawling up in the center of the tree. Look how high he gets up there. Really getting up there. He must be, I don't know, 6-7 feet up there eating the stuff way out. So goats I've found helpful, but here's the quote I wanted to share with you. From William James. The greatest weapon against stress is the ability to choose one thought over another. I've been sitting with that. Really this week I've been thinking about it. I started thinking, I heard that quote quite a while ago, but it came to me to do some more thinking about it and talking about it during our session that we kick off the week, this session on willpower and wellness in the age of AI and machine thinking. When we're thinking about the greatest weapon against stress, to me, where this is taking us is to realize so much of stress, okay, we need some amount of stress. We can't have a stress-free existence. You think about weightlifting and how weightlifting is providing resistance to the body, helps us build resilience and strength. And of course, we want to be strong. So it's not that we don't want any stress, but we want the best coping, and we want the most manageable stress, the type of stress that brings health and resilience, but not the type of stress that is overwhelming. The type of stress clearly that he's alluding to here, the overwhelming type of stress. This is the type of stress that leads to dishealth, especially when we don't manage it in the way. Remember, we did the session, go back on it, about chronic stress being at the root of inflammation in the body, and that inflammation is upstream of almost every metabolic problem we have. So when we're taking our title today and we're thinking about weapons against stress, we're talking about weapons ultimately against disease. Love it. Weapons against dishealth. So I put fasting stress. I'm trying to get, fasting in the title. Fasting can have its own stress, just like weightlifting has a stress. Can be good, but could be bad. You can overdo it in the gym like anywhere else and hurt yourself. Right? So just like we have a warning against that, stay within your limits. The same thing as fasting. Fasting is a skill like anything else. It's a strength, even more. See, weightlifting is a skill. Weightlifting is also a strength. And we're building the strength in the muscles of the body. To build that fasting strength is a practice. As we get stronger at it, say, does the stress level come down, or does our toleration of it build up to a space where we're able to flow through the space in a more comfortable, gentle fashion? Grab a coffee, absolutely. Grab a tea, have a glass of water. Flow through a fasting space. Should feel calm, peaceful, centered. I just wanted to highlight, I ordered up a Founders Edition collection of these simple fasting mugs. So wanted to offer one to you. I'm going to send out some emails, people who regularly coming through here that have emailed me. I'll send you a little email. If you're a viewer of the show, if you're here, if you find value from it, to me, have a simple fasting mug would be a nice way to help center the thinking. Are you trying to bring fasting space into a day? Would having a simple fasting mug a tangible object to put the beverage into? Would you like one? I send one to you. Send an email to me and say hi. If we haven't connected before, throw a comment in the video so I can put a YouTube user with the name. Would be fun. And I hit you up with an email here. It's Dr. Z at simplefasting.com, which is DRZ for Dr. Z. Put that in the chat for you. And we'll bring that up here. So really appreciate you spending time with me. Thank you for coming into this space. Do want it to be your space. And so you can always email me at simplefasting.com. And I'd be happy to hear your thoughts and reflections and observations. Less stress on a Friday, less to do. I say just hang out. I thought I'd just review the week. Here's what we did this week. I'll just talk through it while we're watching these animals chewing through this. You see that guy, that gal, I should say, reaching up there. It's always impressive how much they are working to get these things that are so high. When if you look, they could just walk, 5 feet back and there's still stuff on the ground, but they seem to operate in patches. They want to totally clear out a patch and then they'll move on to a new patch. Kind of interesting. We could use that as a good metaphor for us. Just take care of a project and finish it before moving on to the next thing so that we don't end up scattered. Lots of good metaphors out of this. We're trying to carve out our fasting space. This is almost like fasting space in the woods. It's let's just burn through the energy that is here. Let's not move on to the next thing. It's we're not having the next meal. We're just really diving in on this space until that's all taken care of. That's an analogy I've liked a lot with blood sugar. And realizing if our blood sugar is too high, we have some kind of insulin resistance. And you say, what is blood sugar when it is too high? It's what it actually is, it's food that we previously ate. It's our last meal is still floating around. It's why eat another meal if the blood sugar is already too high? It's the last meal, we haven't finished digesting it yet, is still there. So just like the goats carving out this space, where they say, hey, we're just going to totally take care of this space. Look at that one, is even, when it was rubbing its head, as they stripped the bark off the trees even. I love it. The nasty ones. They don't attack the good big trees, just like autophagy in the body isn't trying to attack the good healthy parts of our cell. It's attacking the stuff that you don't want. Clear out the toxic nasty stuff. These goats giving us the metaphor. So So that's the space. Take care of everything in that space. Instead of eating now, you say, oh, but what if we waited? If you have a continuous glucose monitor, which you can use for weight loss just as much as you can use for type 2 diabetes, a way to see into the physiology of the body. See, when we give the space to the body, it's like the most beautiful gift you can give to the body. Think of gifts that we give to people. You give somebody some jewelry. You give them concert tickets or a restaurant gift card, okay? But you can't give someone fasting. You can give somebody a mug that could help fasting. But fasting, something you have to do. And I like to say it's a gift that you can give to the body. If you could give your body a gift, what would it be? You say health. I would like to give health to my body. And if the metabolism is in a difficult place, if you say, I would like to lose some weight, fasting space can be an incredible gift. Say blood sugar was too high, the body's becoming insulin resistant because it basically says we can't keep up with this, you know? It's like there is too much energy here. We haven't been able to process it. Like we could use a break. That's where I'm saying in this session, a weapon against stress, a break, right? Isn't that a vacation? Isn't that space where we just say nothing to do? We say take the pressure off. Choose one thought over the other. The stress is here and we can voluntarily choose a different thought. The stress is a thought. The stress is a response. The world is outside. The situations are happening. But then we bring it into our life and reality in a way that is out of balance, and we can choose a different thought. Helps us to make a different response to it. Very often we can't change the world, but we can change our response to it. That's the type of thing that is within our power. Sometimes we have in our small way a way to influence the world, and I'm all for it. But most of the time, we can change our response to it. Think one thought over the other. If the blood sugar is too high, it's like wait, give space, let it come down naturally. Say, eat the meal that's already flowing around inside of us, whether it's the blood sugar's too high or we're just trying to get some extra energy out. Tap into the reserves. Fasting space. Potentially see if you agree. You don't have to. But one of the easiest ways to do it. Not that fasting is easy, but think about it. Have you ever gone to the gym, you're working on some sort of exercise machine, and you're trying to burn off some calories, and it's like you spend an hour on some sort of thing, and you just hit 450 calories or something like this, you know, and you're like an entire hour I was pedaling away. Is that really all that happened? It's like, okay, what if you didn't eat the 500 calories to start with? So you just saved yourself an hour of pedaling away, if you see what I'm saying. So depending on what the mindset is, someone else isn't going to say it. Somebody who's totally dialed in on an exercise path, say, no, I'd rather go exercise. I say, bless you. Like, nobody has to do anything. Different strokes for different folks. But if you're in a space to say, I don't want to sit in an hour in the gym today and pedal away, so just open up some fasting space. I say, let fasting do the work. Take the pressure off. This is the type of thing, to me, that is helping us get to less stress. If you are stressed by like completely exercising your way to health, say, can fasting take that pressure off? Exercise to me should always be a joyful expression. I'm going to go for a bike ride later today, and it's going to be a joyful expression, and I'm really looking forward to it, but I'm only going to go as far as I want, you know. All right, looking over the topics of this week. Human weight loss in the age of AI. I am really happy about that talk. What did you think of it? Really happy. If you're ever having thoughts, are you interacting with AI tools or sophisticated AI-based medical things like monitors and AI coaches and like all this sort of stuff. Do you have experience with it? Does it help you? I'd love to know. Go to that session from Monday, and let's have a chat about it, or put it here, of course. But I loved that thinking. I will chat with a large language model sometime, if you can call it that, more out of curiosity than anything else. It's a novelty, I say. So I try to write all of these sessions, like write out my thoughts. I am not delivering AI content to you, is my intention, but sometimes I will ask it a question about it. And so I asked Gemini, what do you think of my title, Human Weight Loss in the Age of AI? Oh man, this is funny today. We're getting marketed to by a video editor. No, I'm doing all right. But do you need some help in a fasting space? Do you need to lose weight? Really happy to have you here. Happy to hear any question you have about moving toward health and wholeness in mind, body, and spirit. And if that's your type of thing, stick around and be happy to chat about it. Lovely. Yes, I love that. So I asked Gemini, what do you think of human weight loss in the age of AI? It said, oh, thank you so much. It said it didn't like the word human. And this was such an interesting conversation. It said the word human in your title is taking away from the clickability of your title. And maybe it is, Oh, well, that's what I said. Oh, well. It said it's totally redundant. It said the word human in your title is totally redundant. I thought this was a fascinating conversation to me, because I'm literally like doing this thinking about human health and flourishing, and I was trying not even to ask, but I have this kind of morbid curiosity. What does the AI say about it? It says cut out the human being. Cut out the word human anyway. I just thought that was really, I laughed to myself. Like, no, I'm going to keep the word human in it. They said, oh, it's redundant because, like, what do you think? Like, no dogs are watching your show. Of course, it's going to be human weight loss. No. I'm like, the whole point of what I'm trying to say is that I don't want people to lose the human element in the midst of all of this technology and things. And it's like the first thing the tech says is, like, just call it weight loss in the age of AI. I was like, I want to bring in themes of, the human spirit, right? Look where we went in that space, like into willpower and what it means to be able to choose one thought over the other and to really direct our purpose. And as much as an AI tool might be able to support us, like, can't really get into that type of space as far as I can see. They're like, we don't need that. They're like, just download the app. That's what they were saying. Just download the app. So it's going to be an interesting road to follow that. So I loved that thinking on Monday. And then we did the session, Meditation to Unlock Fasting, with a subtitle, Just Feel. I loved that. That I took out of Readings from the Mountain Is You. Totally loved that. Led us on a little meditation space in there. And if you are looking for a super chill space, want a mini guided meditation, a little bit of musical meditation, check that out. Get into the thing. We went through the whole cascade. That was a really nice thing to think through. Thinking about all these levels where we have barriers in our life. And, we have barriers to weight loss, and can fasting unlock that? And then we have barriers to fasting, and can meditation unlock that. And then we have barriers to meditation. And so we're trying to strip back the layers, saying, okay, think of the things that are blocking the meditation, our thoughts and judgments and things that we bring into it. So how do we help unwind that and help that all to flow out in this beautiful cascade where we're able to actually sit in a space? One of the sessions we did the other week was about most of our problems stem from our inability to sit with ourselves in the present moment. So that's what a meditation is, to be comfortable with ourself, build that relationship with ourself, no distraction or anything else required, seeking peace and contentment internally. This is super dialed into our quote today, choosing one thought over another, choosing to be present, choosing contentment even over happiness, right? We might say, do some other thing other than a meditation. Might we find more happiness? Turn on Netflix, right? Start binge watching Dr. Z on YouTube, you know? It's like, okay, but we got to shut it off a little bit, right? To find a grounding presence. Okay, so I loved that session. And then the next session, Wednesday, love is a devotion. The meditation unlocking session just kind of did this spark, reminded me of the book I read. Dear Artist had that quote that I took out of it, that love is infinite feeling. It's like the unlock to the meditation was actually feeling, instead of running away from the feeling, that we lean into it, that this is the path to try to open us up, crack us open, and let stress out, especially the deep stuff that we've buried in there. And when we think about making space for feeling, that session from Wednesday, it's like that love is actually the process of doing that. It's a loving process to do that. That love is the type of thing that I can actually handle. You say, man, I've got some really dark stuff in there. Like, how do you deal with something really dark and heavy and difficult, right? If it isn't love, if love is actually infinite feeling, does love have the ability to absorb the darkness? Is that how we move toward the light ultimately? By leaning into love and compassion, both for ourselves and for other people. It's reminding me of the session we did, a couple sessions we've done on forgiveness as a path toward healing. Forgiveness is like, isn't that love in action? Isn't that love like a sponge that is just sucking up the darkness and cleaning it up? And then yesterday, Thursday, don't let your stomach run your life. And I subtitled that, The Appetite CEO, More Thinking from the Mountain Is You. We are getting way almost done with that book. I keep squeezing. I'm trying to squeeze every little drop out of it. And so I thought we were actually going to finish it up. But then, because I'm reading it live as we go through live, like day by day as I'm planning it out, say, what little nuggets of things can we squeeze out? And here I've squeezed a couple more out. The Appetite CEO, who is in charge of our decisions really, Are the kids running the boardroom, or is the most powerful version of ourself actually in charge? And who is that most powerful version? Maybe we haven't met them with yet. We try to envision them. Like, wouldn't you like to sit down and have a coffee with the most powerful version of yourself, who's completely dialed in, who's completely mastered all of the problems that you face? It's like you from 5 years from now, and they're coming back and being like, look, this is the way, this is the path. Here's how we did it. Because wouldn't you like a roadmap for your specific situation? All right, let's start dialing in that headspace. Try to imagine, right? Which is like the imagination. See, this is helping us flow into this creative space where we are at. That our health is an expression that we are creating like an artist on a canvas, and we're drawing out that expression of health. You know, I often say life isn't necessarily fair, right? As people are not dealt an even hand. We all, you know, is like random in some fashion how it is. So we say, our expression going to look different in that way? Say, this is what the canvas is. This is what we apply the paint to. We kind of got our canvas, and then we got to take our situation, express it there. So how do you do that in the most powerful way? Envision the most powerful version of yourself. What would they think? What do they feel? How do they approach a situation? Right? How do they manage their stress? Right? What kind of coping mechanisms do they have that allow them to flow through a situation in the most optimal way? Think about that. We're sitting here. What thoughts are they choosing, one over the other? Like, we are encountering an obstacle, like obstacles part of life. The most powerful version of ourselves comes into an obstacle. They're making different decisions than we are. Like, we're stuck at this level, and they're operating on a higher plane. We got to get into that space. They get into this space. We are choosing one thought, right? But they are choosing a different one. One obstacle makes us stressed. They see it. They say, no, no. We're choosing this thought. We're choosing this way of being. Because they've overcome that obstacle. They step over it. Don't let the stomach run the life. You know, it was so interesting to me as I was thinking about that session. Have you heard this, that there's more neurons down in the GI system than there are in the brain? It's like, but they're tiny, right? So it's not, the total mass is not more. It's not, you know, bigger. But I guess the number is bigger. And what does that really mean? Is there thinking that happens? Is that what a gut feeling is? That's what I'm thinking. Is that a gut feeling? Is it actually thinking in the body? We have thinking clearly in the brain, or at least it seems clear. And then, like, do we have thinking there? And what type and how is it? And then we feel, okay, we feel a gut feeling. We feel an emotion right around the same area where we feel hungry. And it's like, what is happening in there? The hunger space to me is very interesting. You know, as a fasting space, hunger, of course, is one of the big barriers. I imagine if we survey 1,000 people and say, what is the biggest barrier to fasting? Probably hunger takes the top of the list, followed by social pressure, and then just habits and stress, right? These are the big barriers. Tell me, what are your big barriers? I would be happy to hear. Are there others that to you are the big barriers? Described the stomach as potentially like a nasty boss, you know? Like, have you worked in a space where like the boss is just like, oh man, it's like they're coming in, everybody's trying to like, oh, shut the door in the meeting. Like, we're just trying to... You don't want to be working for a tyrant, right? Has the stomach ever felt like a tyrant? The appetite is like, it's just driving and it's relentless. I've definitely felt like that. In my experience, the times where I have felt most overwhelmed by Bossy's stomach is the times when I am in a cycle of eating processed foods, I will tell you. When people bringing donuts into the work office and you eat one and it was so good, and don't you feel better for a little while before the crash, but then you remember the peak, like how good it was, and you kind of, you think then you say, but then you go through the space. You're like, I'm not going to do that again. But then it's a new day and they're back and they look good and they smell good. And then you remember how good it was. And then you get in a cycle like this. Have you been in a cycle like that? So many times I've been in a cycle like that. And it's like when you're in a space like that, it can just feel impossible to break out of it. It's like, and you feel like, I want something. We talked about fire that. This is the most powerful version of yourself coming into a space like that. You say, this cycle like this, stomach, appetite, craving, you're fired, Fire the bossy stomach. How do you do it, right? This is the space that I'm trying to create here for us. Choose one thought or another. Choose a way of being over another. That we're trying to get metacognitive, right? We can be stuck in a certain layer. We're trying to bring that up a level where we get up and over it. We can be more objective and see it. So we can flow through spaces, really change things in a better way. And to me, a space like this, that is like weapons against stress, like here's another big weapon. Nothing. Doing nothing. This is a great paradox. And maybe it's only a paradox for us in this culture, because this culture is hustle culture. It is so driven, which has its benefits, right? But we're like 100% turning the dial over toward doing with no space toward being. And just the being, right? Just here in a space. Think what's happening while we're taking up our time, flowing through this space, trying to bring as much positive thinking, love and light into things, right? As we're doing this, we're practicing, we're modeling what is happening, in the body, actually doing it. As we're talking through these things, heart is still beating, lungs are still moving the air. Everything like a furnace is running. Just like the goats are chewing through all the energy, body's chewing through the energy in our space. So it's like nothing really required, right? This is how fasting is doing the work. We just have to be in a space. Meditation, fasting, showing us the same thing, mind and body. Trying to break out of the cycle, think a different thought, one thought over the other. It's like to think a different thought is a change, right? That's the root level of the change. We can think, change is the behavior. I used to walk into the office where the donut was. It's like very, very hard not to do that. So we get way upstream. So I don't walk into that room anymore. It's like, see, we're bringing in our flavors of atomic habits, changing our environment, bringing in thinking that we did in the fall, thinking fast and slow, realizing we have limited willpower. We have a cognitive system that can be overwhelmed by cues from our environment that can trip us into cycles and habits and patterns. So we're going to try to flow around things like that as much as possible. Maybe that's the real powerful choice. Not even to put ourselves in the room where the decision would have to be made, getting way upstream. So that we preserve that mental capital for the time like we walked in, we couldn't do it anyway, it just happened, then we're drawing on the bank account of human willpower. Try to save that though. Save it and strengthen it. Somewhere in the week we put the quote in there, Viktor Frankl, between stimulus and response is a space, and in that space is our, I'll have to paraphrase, haven't quite memorized it, basically our power. Our power to choose in that space, one thought over the other, and in that space is our growth and our freedom. Do I still have that quote? I have so many quotes, and I have trouble in this system keeping them all organized. So much good thinking. That is helping me anyway. This is really what we're trying to do. So many different ways to put our most thoughtful self, the thing that we really want. Remember in the fall we did the sessions, the most important question in weight loss. What do I really want? It's such an incredible thing. What are we really trying to do here? We did that thinking. I intentionally put those thoughts in before we started diving into the mountain is you, because it's like, what mountain are we even climbing? Like, before we climb up an entire mountain, like, let's make sure that we're climbing, the mountain we want to climb. Otherwise we get to the top of it and we're like, well, I got to start over, and climb a different mountain. So it's like, what do we want here? And then Atomic Habits challenged us that even the deeper question is like, who am I? This would be a great centering thought for us for our day. Who am I really? And then out of that, what do I want? We think about so much of the stress we have. Okay, we got tons of stress, tons of pressure happening in our life, in the world, in all of these spaces. And we can get caught up in the stress. There's so much to do, so many things to think about. One thought over the other, say, okay, we got that going on, but let's really center ourselves, ground ourselves. Maybe this would be some good reflection for us for the weekend. Who am I? What do I want, and what am I doing? And what does a version of myself 5 years from now think about it? And how would they do it? And how do we walk the path from here to there and bridge that gap? That's what I'll be trying to do with you on these sessions. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. And I will look forward to being back with you next week. And we do some more thinking. Let's see what happens. I hope we get a set of thinking like this week. We'll see what happens. I'm excited about it personally. What will happen? Let's reconvene a week from now and we'll reflect. Did more beautiful thoughts come to us? Happy to hear your thoughts and reflections. Throw them in the comments and send me an email if you'd like a mug. And I'll chat with you next week. Be well, everybody.